What if I told you that almost 30 years ago, Dana White, the president of the UFC, attempted to make it as a clothing designer? Sounds kind of surprising, right? Well, let me take you on a trip to explore the rise and fall of Dana White's now defunct clothing brand known as Bullenbeiser. The year is 1996 and Dana White has just arrived in Las Vegas, Nevada. At this time, Dana White was mostly teaching boxing classes to make ends meet because before he was ever involved in the UFC, he was heavily involved in the boxing world. Until one day he had the bright idea of making his own boxing-focused clothing line. He thought there was a gap in the market and wanted to try and fill it. So on October 10th, 1996, the Bullenbeiser brand was officially trademarked. Dana picked the name Bullenbeiser because it's a German bulldog and it's known for its strength and agility, something that he was also known for. So he only thought it was fitting. While Dana White didn't have much knowledge about designing clothes, he did have connections in the boxing world, specifically connections with Jeff Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's uncle. From his time he spent teaching classes, Dana had amassed a pretty good network in the boxing world, so he figured that even if his clothing brand wasn't the best, he knew enough people to get jump-started. According to the official business filings, they sold the following items: clothing, namely t-shirts, sweatshirts, knit shirts, undershirts, jackets, hats, headbands, headwear, Bermuda shorts, boxer shorts, sweat shorts, gym shorts, jogging suits, sweatsuits, and warm-up suits. Its first year, the brand actually had a good amount of success. As I mentioned before, Dana White had pretty good connections. He was able to sponsor an up-and-coming boxer that was headed to the Olympics. The name of Bullenbeiser's first sponsored athlete was none other than Floyd Mayweather.
He comes from the United States, Floyd Mayweather.
Dana gave Floyd a few $1,000s to wear Bullenbeiser at the Olympics. Reports show that every outfit that Floyd Mayweather wore was Dana White's brand Bullenbeiser. It was the best marketing that he could have asked for. Millions of eyes staring at the Bullenbeiser brand. It was a huge plus, too, that Floyd did quite well at the Olympics, scoring a bronze medal for the USA. However, despite the incredible marketing, almost no sales were made from Bullenbeiser's showcase at the Olympics. Despite the fact that millions saw the Bullenbeiser clothing brand on TV, there was really no place to purchase them. Being such a new brand, Dana White had no distribution aside from a few local boxing gyms in Las Vegas. Plus, there were no internet stores at the time, so you couldn't place an order for them online after seeing them on TV. While most would see this as a lost opportunity, Dana remained hopeful. He believed that the best years for Bullenbeiser were just ahead of him. Unfortunately, that didn't turn out the way Dana had hoped. Years passed and Bullenbeiser sponsored other athletes and had merchandise in a couple more stores in Las Vegas boxing gyms, but nothing really seemed to be working. Additionally, Dana White had just begun working at his friend's new company called the UFC, so his boxing clothing line had to take a back seat. Even more years went by and the Bullenbeiser brand was something of a distant memory, and officially on July 15, 2006, the Bullenbeiser brand was terminated. You may think this is where the story ends. Well, Dana White did at least. Until April of 2015, Dana White and Floyd Mayweather were butting heads regarding each other's respective sports. Floyd called Dana ungrateful and reminded him, "If you go back and look at my first fight, the patch on my trunks, Bullenbeiser, I wore that for Dana White." The mention of the brand name caught the attention of many UFC fans, as they had no idea that Dana White used to have his own clothing line. Having learned from his failures with this brand in the past, Dana quickly made plans with Reebok to release a limited-time Bullenbeiser clothing line, featuring the original logo and all. This time, the Bullenbeiser brand sold very well, more than young Dana could ever imagine. And that's the story of how Dana White created, failed, and finally succeeded as a clothing fashion designer.